Been about a week or so since I watched Fatherhood.
Yeah.
I forgot. I want to say his name is Barry.
You said Barry?
I think that's his name, ain't it?
Wait, who, Kevin Hart character?
It's not, is it? Nigga ready to roast me. You said Barry?
I was just making
Is that what you said? Yeah, what's this nigga name now?
What's up, Matt?
Where the fuck did I get Barry from? Is anybody named Barry?
I don't think so.
It ain't looking good.
Hey, what's going on, y'all? Welcome back to Cinecism. I'm Eric.
It's your boy Dante, man, and today we're going to be doing a review on the Netflix original movie, Fatherhood.
Fatherhood is based on a true story. It's centered around a man who unfortunately lost his wife shortly after the birth of their first child, right?
Mm-hmm.
Star of the film is Kevin Hart, of course, in one of his more serious roles, which I always appreciate. It basically is about this father who lost his wife, who is learning to cope with not only that loss, but also how to father a child in a single parent household. It's rough because men don't have those natural maternal instincts that women do. So not only is it a single parent, but it's a single father, which makes it that much more difficult, I feel.
And in the most pivotal stage of a child's development, I feel, which is a baby. You know what I'm saying? You got to take care of
man. We ain't got the tools.
No. In this movie and seeing the trailer for it, I honestly thought that we were going to just see him raise his daughter while she was little, but you actually get to see her grow up, you know, and you get to see their relationship progress throughout the years. He has family support. He has his deceased wife's family, and then of course he has his own family as well that kind of help him along the way, and he got some friends and whatnot, but mostly it's just him and her, you know, for this long time, and I think about 6 years is the time span that we get.
First, let's talk about Matt, played by Kevin Hart. Surprisingly.
Why is it surprising?
Just after I realized who the actual man was.
Yeah, right? Who is the actual man? Somebody we know?
No, it's a white man.
Oh, is it really? Yes. This shit loosely based on a true story, dude. What? I ain't know that. That's crazy.
Matt is this mid-30s man working for this big IT company, pretty successful. Him and his wife seem to have a pretty close relationship as well, and we don't really get to know a whole lot about her, but it seemed like they were pretty happy. They were just prepared to welcome their first child and take on this responsibility together. It was just so unexpected when it happened. I try to put myself in his situation. I don't have any children, but I couldn't imagine raising a child, especially a girl, by myself, even at this mature stage in my life. It's just, especially balancing that or attempting to balance that with your career and relationships with friends and family. It's just difficult.
On top of dealing with the grief, that kind of didn't come back into play later because he kind of really had to switch into gear. He got to mourn his wife for a little bit, at least that we saw early on, but he got to get right into parent mode because you got this young kid that depending on you at this point, so you really got to step up. Yeah, man, you really see that he was affected as anybody would be, and the way in which she passed was so abrupt, right? Like he was literally just talking to her. He was just having a conversation with her. She was just gone, man. She ended up having what was like a clot in her lung or something like that. It's interesting to see him navigate this movie with dealing with that. And I'll say this, man, you know, Kevin, I've seen Kevin in some pretty decent roles. This is probably one of the best ones I've seen him in terms of just from an acting standpoint. When they told him that his wife died, bro, like honest to God, I felt that on every level. His reaction was so visceral and so authentic, man. Just the way that he conveyed that on screen was, man, I bought it 1000%, and I really felt them, and it really sets the tone for the movie too. When you lose somebody that close to you, especially a spouse, this is somebody that you've built a life with and seemingly have centered your life around a future with them as well. It's like your whole future rearranged, you know, your whole everything, especially now that you have a child. Of course, y'all plan to raise this child together, but it's just all the things that you had planned to do, and they were literally just talking about some of them just go down the drain. You got to remap your life in a way, man. It's crazy, and people that live through stuff like this are extremely strong because it's one of them unimaginable tragedies that you just don't even know what you would do.
I mean, his daughter, Maddie, she's a typical young girl, aside from the fact that, you know, she doesn't have her mother in her life. She grew up kind of like a tomboy, as you would expect. from a father raising a little girl. They got a pretty strong relationship though, man. You can tell that they've built quite a bond over these few years. Does she have any friends in this movie, really?
Yeah, that was a problem.
Because she kind of seemed like...
yeah, she was very isolated.
Like an outcast.
Yeah, because she's not a traditional girl. I mean, they showed her with one little girl at one point, but it don't seem like she got a lot of friends, especially her age. Most of her friends is like her dad and his friends. You definitely want to see a kid with their own group of friends. But I would say, all things considered, she seemed to be pretty well adjusted.
I mean, kids are assholes anyway.
Right.
So at some point or another, you're going to get clowned or picked
right.
on. I don't care what you do.
Right, exactly. They didn't focus on it a lot, but you do get to see at some point she kind of, missing that absent mother figure for sure. She don't really have a constant woman in her life. Their relationship kind of makes the movie, because if they're not convincing as a father and daughter, you just kind of throw the whole movie away. But I thought they did a really good job in conveying their relationship on screen, and you also felt the history of their relationship too. It felt like they had been rocking together kind of solo for a long time.
So lastly, you want to talk about the girlfriend, I guess?
Yeah, we can.
Damn, what was her name?
Liz.
His
wife's name.
He called her... No.
Her name was Liz.
No, I'm talking about the girlfriend. The wife dead. Oh, that's right. They had the same...
The wife dead. She dead, bro. This man couldn't accept it.
No.
She dead. Right.
Don't say it. Don't you say it.
Right.
So Liz is the love interest that Matt meets later in the movie. I guess it was set up by his friend for them to meet.
It was so obvious that it was a setup.
He made that just so awkward.
Right.
She was dope, man. I liked her in this movie, especially as somebody that was like coming into the life of a parent and child, man. She really wasn't trying to be too invasive, but she was very acceptant of their relationship, and she didn't try to like put herself between them. She kind of just wanted to become a part of that family. And I appreciated that whole relationship between the three of them and how sweet she was to Maddie and everything, and how she wanted to include her and everything. I thought that was really dope. Yeah.
Such a tricky thing to navigate. And like you said, she just did it so effortlessly. You never really got the feeling that, one, she was jealous, because that's something that I feel like people can be in these situations where you falling in love with somebody and you want to demand a lot of their time. Yeah. I felt like she was very understanding of the fact that his daughter really came first, and they had a lot of really good conversations in the beginning. She was really great, and she was really great for him too. It was good to see for both of them, but really for him, man, because he had really dedicated 6 years of his life strictly to his daughter. He wasn't entertaining any romantic partners or nothing like that, just raising her, making sure that she had everything she needed and working. I'm sure he felt the void as well, and it was good to see that he was able to fill that with somebody that was actually worthy of it too.
Let's talk about the key moments and takeaways. Liz's mom.
Yeah.
She was on some shit. I understood her concerns, but damn, bro, she was my wife. I got where she was coming from, but I did not appreciate the execution.
And then it's just he not a completely incompetent person. I understand what you're saying, and kind of go back to what you were talking about, which is just that men kind of don't possess those natural tools. So your concern is valid, but the way she was talking to him was like he was a loser or something. I'm like, dude, he's clearly a successful career person, and he's been successfully married for quite some time, it seems like. But what is this energy that he just completely incapable and incompetent to raise another human? I didn't feel that. Now he's gonna need help, but she was like, we need to just take her, as if in his care she was just in the worst position.
What? I mean, you can come help out part time. Yeah, but his mom was riding with his mom.
That was kind of messed up.
Support.
Yeah, right. The thing that upset me was that I feel you because it's important, but it's like, bro, give that man time to grieve. His wife had just died. Yeah. And they was kind of at the repast talking shit.
He unfit.
Right, yeah. He unfit. Her dad was cool though, but that's typically, the men gonna be chilling for the most part. We ain't gonna be getting invested in a lot of the nonsense. So, and he was the quintessential old black man.
Oh yeah.
He just wanted to mind his business.
Let that man be.
Right, yeah. I got a question for you. So overall, I guess this is a two-part question. So how do you feel about Kevin Hart as an actor overall, and how did you feel this movie showed his acting ability?
Here's my take on Kevin Hart. I think Kevin Hart is a cool dude. He can act. I just don't like some of his more extreme performances sometimes, where he's just over the top trying to be funny. I like some of his more early performances before he blew up. Mm-hmm. I felt he was just more naturally funny back then. As an actor, I think Kevin Hart is pretty good. I think he has that range range that we don't get to see that often, which, I mean, I think he's probably going to dwell more into that later in his career, hopefully. Like, I think he was great in this movie, and I like him in the more serious roles, personally.
I love Kevin, but I feel like Kevin be overdoing it sometimes, which is unnecessary because Kevin Hart is naturally funny. And when you naturally funny, you don't have to try to be funny. Like, you see Dave Chappelle, he's a perfect example of that. Dave Chappelle never try to exude wackiness because he naturally got a comedic presence. And Kevin is blessed with that too. I think he was meant to do comedy. I like roles like this. One, he's more serious, but it has moments of comedic elements. And I think this is when Kevin is kind of at his best. Think Like a Man, probably the best combination of him not going over the top with the wackiness, being animated but not going overboard, but still being naturally funny. I thought that was, to me, his best comedic role. That's the most I've laughed. But this is a good example of what I've been seeing from him in recent years, which is, this is probably more serious side, but I like Night School and movies like The Wedding Ringer, where he's funny, but he not super animated.
This movie overall to me felt, I don't know if it was the direction or what, it was like the way in which things unfolded. It felt a little draggy at points, but I don't know if that was like because of the story or because of the way that the movie was directed. I'm not sure, but it felt unbalanced from beginning to end. I don't know how close to actual events this movie follows.
Well, if the real man is white, I would say not very close. I definitely felt like the way that things unfolded, like the sequence of events sometimes didn't quite go hand in hand, you know, and I did feel like at moments this movie interjected comedy in parts where they probably just shouldn't have. It was interesting because the way that this movie ended was kind of off to me.
It was something about it that just ain't feel right.
Yeah,
Right.
It just ended.
I couldn't quite explain it, but something definitely felt unresolved to me.
This movie is a bit long. It's over 2 hours, but if you're going to do that, that's cool. I mean, it's a movie, it's a people movie, so we need to be invested in these characters, so I'm okay with that. Bring the movie full circle. You know, the movie just kind of felt abrupt at the end, you know, and it felt a little bit rushed.
Overall, I thought Fatherhood was a decent movie. More than anything, I enjoyed the performances, primarily of Kevin Hart. I think this is one of his better roles. I would like to see him in more of these serious roles. I thought the movie was a solid watch. Went a little longer than I felt like it needed to, but that's just a personal opinion. Based on that, I'm going to give Fatherhood a 7 out of 10.
From what I saw, I enjoyed the movie overall. I wish that the story was a little bit better told in certain parts, but I thought that they did a really good job of really creating these characters in this world and these circumstances that you felt. Kevin and his daughter are really the main people that you see in this movie, and I think that they carried it really, and they did it in a really good way, in a really convincing way. I'm gonna give Fatherhood a 7.5.
All right, y'all. Thanks for tuning in to our review of the Netflix original movie, Fatherhood. I hope y'all enjoyed that. And as always, don't forget to like, share, and subscribe to our channel. And if you have any suggested reviews for any movies, don't forget to drop a comment below.
Absolutely. And if you guys have seen Fatherhood, please let us know what you thought. How'd you feel about Kevin's acting? How'd you feel about the cast overall? Some of your favorite Kevin Hart roles, and how do you feel about Kevin overall as an actor? We'd like to know that as well. We appreciate y'all.
All right, peace.
Peace.